Russian military officials have alleged that 38 laboratories across Ukraine ran experiments on civilians, framing the claim as part of a broader narrative about Western activity near Russia's borders. Shut down by Donald Trump earlier this year, USAID is now being accused by Moscow of involvement in secret pharmaceutical testing on civilians in Ukraine. Russia claimed that USAID may have been involved in testing pharmaceutical drugs on Ukrainian citizens, raising serious ethical and legal questions in its narrative. The allegation was made by Major General Alexei Ryzhev during a briefing in Moscow, where he outlined Russia's latest accusations. Ryzhev, who heads Russia's radiation, chemical, and biological protection troops, presented these claims as part of his official remit. Russia also said that U.S. officials have previously admitted to defense-related biological work in Ukrainian laboratories tied to Western programs. In this context, Moscow cited comment from figures like John Kirby and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as acknowledgement of U.S. work in Ukrainian labs. Ryzhev pointed to an interview Cornell chemist Dave Collum gave to Tucker Carlson in August 2025, using it to bolster his allegations. In that interview, Collum allegedly confirmed that drug testing on Ukrainians took place in 38 separate laboratories across the country. The general said these labs handled pharmaceutical products that were then tested on local populations, implying human experimentation. Russia framed all of this as part of a wider pattern of linked biological and chemical activity inside Ukraine that Moscow views as threatening. Officials in Moscow also claimed that USAID helped fund Event 201, a coronavirus pandemic simulation exercise held before COVID-19 emerged. Ryzhev said that this drill took place in October 2019, shortly before the start of the global COVID-19 pandemic. Russian officials hinted that sponsoring such simulations fits a broader pattern of risky biomedical projects supported by U.S.-linked entities. The Kremlin tied these accusations to earlier claims about Pentagon-backed biological laboratories operating in Ukraine and other states near Russia's borders. Ryzhev said his suspicions are reinforced by comments he attributes to Elon Musk about U.S. foreign aid structures. Musk has previously called USAID a criminal organization in his political broadsides and online posts. The tech mogul has alleged that USAID uses taxpayer money to fund research he describes as bioweapon-related or highly dangerous.
In an interview to American journalist Tucker Carlson in August 2025, a professor of organic chemistry at Cornell University, Dave Collum, confirmed pharmaceutical testing on a Ukrainian population in 38 laboratories. To ensure the secrecy of such research, the sponsors are not military agencies, but rather civilian agencies and non-governmental organizations. One of them is the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, which was terminated by U.S. President Donald Trump's decision. In the United States, the agency funded the Event 201 exercise designed to deal with an epidemic of an unknown coronavirus. I would like to stress that the exercise was held in October 2019, right before the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. In February 2025, Elon Musk, head of the Department of Government Efficiency, called USAID a criminal organization, which again confirms the conclusions of the Russian Defense Ministry regarding the agency's involvement in illegal activities, including the coup d'etat in Ukraine and the commence of a propaganda war against Russia. No less serious concerns are raised by Ukraine's activities in the field of radiation safety, including Kyiv's attempts at nuclear blackmail. Andrei Yermak, former head of the Ukrainian presidential office, has a special role in this regard. He personally supervised the organizational, logistical, and financial flows of spent nuclear fuel imported into Ukraine without notifying IAEA and other relevant organizations. The supply chains were organized through Poland and Romania. This creates the risk of creating a so-called dirty bomb and then using it under a false flag. This is evidenced by the training methods of the Security Service of Ukraine, SBU, available to us. One of the training areas is simulating the situation of stealing ionizing radiation sources, manufacturing an explosive device, and detonating it in a crowded place.
Russia's envoy to the OPCW, Alexander Terebrin, has earlier alleged that Ukraine runs a network of chemical laboratories with military ties. Terebrin claimed these facilities produce toxic substances intended for use by the Ukrainian armed forces, according to Russian reports. Moscow has long argued that U.S.-backed laboratories in Ukraine and nearby countries are engaged in work that edges toward biological weapons. Kyiv and Western governments categorically deny these accusations, but the new focus on USAID marks a sharper escalation in Russia's information campaign.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.